Welcome everyone to another video continuing our T2 stuff, but I finally also wanted to try this GoFundMe stuff because obviously as amazing as all the Patreon, GitHub sponsorship and OnlyFans and stuff is, we have quite some bigger things to do. Slightly wonder, RST, use cookies, where is even the save and publish thing? So much to, that is a little bit funny. Share browser, preview mode, where is even, or do I need to? Maybe there. Anyway, yeah, always just open this and that, and it's like, yeah, everything takes 30 minutes here and there, and at the end of the day we have drop frames. Can we also, what is his issue? Tips from something, why does this not? Hello, do we have, what do I overlook? What is here? This is rather silly, to be honest. Why is this not progressing? Anyway, we also have some more stuff to do, including, also we wanted to actually run, let's not waste any electrons here. Building this stuff, we should be at the latest revision, so let's test build this, but I will, Titanium there, of course. But we even have that better supported now. But also figure out what we want to do for, where did I save this all into? Oh, wait a second, don't tell me. Oh no, this is actually the right one, too many. T2 checkouts, because you have even more to do. Yeah, let's sort this to-do stuff, and also, why does this not, this is hilarious. Automate more updates. I wanted to check the biggest hurdle in more automating T2 updates, which of course already quite automated, but a lot of packages have versioned downloads, Firefox, but many others. So because we scan our data, or our scripts only scan like this directory, we of course miss here from this packages all updates, and the idea would be to detect the usual shell scripting. Yeah, long story short, it's of course not the most scalable, the current mix of 15-year-old C++ test code that I would want to do away with. So ideally the whole auto update checking stuff probably should also be rewritten, maybe in Lua or something. But because the C++ stuff in between not the most scalable. So yeah, that would be, so what I would want to do there is, our update script probably already substitutes parts of the version here. So the idea would be to probably detect that there, well, it always sounds easy, right? I mean, it will anyway only work in 90% of the cases, because there could be in 5% of the cases also other numbers that you think it looks like the version but isn't. And the other thing is that you get another directory listing from all the freaking HTTP servers, sometimes more fancy, sometimes less, plus other random stuff. So yeah, but why does this not always, let's live do here some stuff. I slightly wonder to raise, so this is maximum, yeah, web 2 or 3 usability. Why does this not, I have like 0 idea why. What am I clicking wrong here? This is rather no idea what I've done to that now. Please enter, or did I? No, this. There was a title a second ago though that somehow didn't load though. Maybe did I had a, that was the issue. I was maybe make it red and stuff, and nah, I was so stupid too. Can't use plus to check the purple, which purple message? Which did you mean? Oh, whatever. Proof P3, Linux, other OS. Also plus it also. Oh, this is silly though. Doesn't contain any. Let's Google some Unicode plus. Let's maybe put this on. How to break stuff, obviously with plus sign. That probably sounds good, right? Also, yeah, trick 17 of if some old-fashioned plus doesn't work, then can we copy it there? Oh, no, wait, this is whatever. So yeah, who can read error messages is clearly at an advantage. What? Unicode plus also doesn't work. Come on. Did I even copy the right subscript plus sign, full with plus sign? Why can I not? This is this. That works. There we have it. Darn, it's a little bit big though. Maybe we shouldn't use small. Let's take the small plus sign. The full plus sign is a little bit full, or subscript. You know what? Let's be fancy and use superscript plus sign. Probably I could type it with alt graph, whatever, plus shift, something fancy of what sort, but is that not amazing? Better than TM is superscript plus. Funny that it let me preview that though. Anyway, yeah, the Graver, you had other OS++. Yes, I was too stupid for the... Almost there. Darn, they wanted some... Probably, you know what? Can we... Yeah, we can. Let's not screenshot. I mean, thankfully it didn't directly show the phone number, which I already had entered, so no idea why it wants a phone number again. Which did I even put? Maybe I should make this so email also. Did I not had already? Wait a second, I'm mailing. Too stupid to read. Mailing versus. Oops, unknown error. Oh, sorry, something went wrong. Thank you very much. You can't make this stuff up. Is it even still? This is ridiculous. There, that is. Yeah, I will continue that later. That makes no sense to do live on YouTube. Anyway, there you have it. Except that Web3 stuff works like shit because obviously maybe it is shit. So let's also not mess up here my precious tiled windowed. So there we have it. Let's get to work. Which is, so here are the to-do entries. We had data version download, actually ironically the next on the list. So this shared MIME info we have mostly done. This is like finish. Or did we write a second shared? Anyway, we probably just leave it. Yeah, text info. Maybe we should actually do that now because it gets annoying. It's like the last time I test built the last build error actually. Yeah, the problem is all of them still some hours, right? Some hour of polishing here and there. Also, there was a Xamber update. Should we actually test with whether the latest? Ironically, we just got Xamber to cross-compile somewhat. I see it already coming. We update that. And it doesn't cross-compile anymore. So what would they have in the meantime? Actually, I wonder if most, so for 14, we could have, yeah, but it's also not, I wonder if we could add some sorting thing that works with most. I mean, you probably could usually put here more additional random garbage that usually shouldn't break something, right? So all Apache engines and whatnot sorting. Oops. Probably shouldn't, yeah. Doesn't do anything. Navarro asks, a reason T2 uses Subversion historically advantage over Git. Yeah, we use this, actually we were one of the earliest adopters of Subversion. I said this already a couple of times, 2003 or so, Subversion 0. whatever. Historically, because obviously CVS, is it concurrent version system or whatever that stood for, was of course a pile of garbage and not atomic commits and stuff. Maybe I would still have used CVS, but of course, honestly, it was a piece of shit. I used CVS for some other projects, like Sane, my scanner driver in Sane, but I remember it was really also extremely annoying to use. So there were some commercial stuff, maybe even what was it, BitKeeper or whatever that was, what even Linus Torvalds used for Linux kernel. Long story short, when Subversion came around, it was like the best, obviously, state of the art and stuff in 2003. And so we adopted that, and basically it just works. I also find always when I need to do something with the Linux kernel and Git, I always need to Google the Git usage, right? Even, I probably have forgot already, even diffing some like commits is like diff and then commit hash and then was it even Z or F syntax. I mean, okay, fine if you use it daily. Long story short, everything I do would be more time consuming with GitHub. Also, I think it's a little bit overrated. I think everyone, even power users, make joke of the overcomplicated command line interface stuff. And I would also argue GitHub is not the best for all projects. I find it rather crazy that even commercial stuff uses GitHub these days. And most people barely even use it, right? Most commercial people, like 90% or so, commercial users use GitHub like Subversion or CVS or ironically, I think I find Mercurial much more easier to use, despite being a little bit more distributed and stuff. And I would argue for all projects with less than 10-20 people, I would say Subversion, Mercurial and stuff is way much easier. Of course, GitHub makes it easy if you do web managed pull request and issue management and stuff. But yeah, for me it doesn't have much value. I would need to change server-side stuff, nightly stuff, and so on. And yeah, basically for me, I would only spend more time using Git than it would not have a single benefit. And maybe someday we change, but no, whatever. I would also say Git is way too complex, right? I don't even have any like joy or wish to learn more Git, because each time I look into this, like, nah. And if I use it for something like P3 and Linux, there are always of course I sometimes do some travel stuff wrong, and then stuff is messed up and need to git reset and hard checkout. Navarro says, yeah, GitHub is utter crap. Actually, I said GitHub makes it easy, right? I mean, I say GitHub makes it easy, you say utter crap, but Navarro, they use Git over SSH and that's it, but really like GitHub because can everything and regularly shuffle around. Well, of course, everyone their own, as long as it's convenient and stuff. It can also be that once I get extremely annoyed with Subversion or whatever, but it also doesn't really matter much for me, right? If Subversion, GitHub, I use GitHub for this. I mean, ironically, I use GitHub for some small things like the FPGA stuff, Octane and P3 stuff, and yeah, for the small stuff to try and getting more used to it, but somehow it's not getting the most. adopted to it. So Zamber. The point, of course, let's maybe. Okay, is this latest version apparently, except this major update? Let's do one quick famous last recurring words here. This might also recompress. Right. Major change in Subversion. In Zamber, by the way, they completely, according to news I already read yesterday or so, they completely reshuffled their internal file system, virtual file system implementation there in Zamber. Oh, this is tech info thing. Yeah, let's do this later. Otherwise I spend here 20 minutes with this bloody regression, because regression... I should, by the way, check whether we are building what we want to build. So LTO and tempfs. Okay, Zamber. And then, so we can actually, of course, multitask. So in the case of Firefox or other such download URLs, so the goal is to more automate download URLs there. And we have here create, update, patch, probably, or update package. Script also supports, okay, that. This is just our existing script to like update when you type like Firefox, whatever. By the way, sir, I just checked the other day. Do I still have this in the log? Probably here. 9.2. I think I checked yesterday, yeah, but there wasn't a new version. Actually, we could check this, however, whether it would have worked with, let's say, that would be an update. Let's Firefox. Oops. Okay, this works, and substitute that URL. That is just what I wanted to test, because I wanted to copy the same code here. We somewhere have to generate that as a call this pattern, or no, where would that here actually we have some create package update. This is what I sort. And somewhere this creates like old version and expression. So basically something that like that, like substituting the version out of this, maybe just to XX see if where the first match is in the URL. Like this one, and then so the only problem is scanning this directory like those. But as we also for example, Bash uses that a little bit here. Actually, no, I use this for the version patches. Okay, take this back. Which other? Yeah, but if it works already for Firefox and stuff, this would already be an improvement. So scan this directory. Maybe we can directly feed this directory. Maybe we should make our regular update scanning there more sophisticated. and Firefox. The question is if we feed this directly into, does it have update list? Do we have help or something? No, no, convenient. As this is old C++ stuff that we thought statically typed stuff makes it more amazing, but it didn't. What arguments do we have here? No prefix or URL. How's the command line? Scanning otherwise. Where is even? Here it's main dark C stuff. Yeah, poor man's argument parsing. Where is even? Okay, apparently URL and then package name. Good that I checked that. So what happens if we supply that to... Okay, that also then we need no prefix because... Something like... Was it no prefix? Okay, that totally doesn't work at all. Alright, because I think it scans... Yeah, okay, so it's not that easy because... So no prefix we also use for GitHub. No prefix means not like Firefox something. So we would need also differently new code there. So basically scanning that, so the problem is only that we get so much random stuff, right? We've seen the problem is all this fancy HTTP, Firefox removing FTP support, and then the fancy directory listing like that. Maybe we could pipe it into links, although I mean this is not even that bad. Which is that even? Does it have curl headers or something? Reserve edit to specifically dump headers. So that is Mozilla what? No URL specified. What? Why is that not an URL? What? Dump headers file name. Dump the headers to dash O. Thank you very much. Xcache it from CloudFront. What was it? CloudFront, Firefox? No. So, what would be the best to because of course an old-fashioned directory listing would be much easier to scan than random because the KDE packages are even worse. And for those who are new to the stuff, I only do this to automate the heck out of that, to basically avoid as much human interaction with updates as possible. So yeah, here would be the same release archive services. So basically for all the KDE packages it would apply the same to scan like this direction. As you see, it's also, yeah, modern, like, yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm so totally not a fan of this modern directory listings. So much surrounding header and footer that is just somewhat crazy. Also, it is not as easy as just using that, right? So we anyway would need a dual strategy of using the old-fashioned scanning this directory, because for many like GNOME packages, they have all minor updates within one directory thing. So basically, yeah, all packages, all projects, GNOME, KDE, Linux kernel. Everyone uses their own release versioning directory structured scheme. This makes the whole thing obviously relatively error prone. So yeah, this is, as we've seen, even more crazy. Oops. Is it even the right release services? Here is that. So yeah, it has even, okay, it has table and footer, but I mean, you can't rely on just like footer and stuff to even freaking JavaScript in your freaking directory listing. KDE Experience Freedom. Yeah, this is rather crazy to pass. I know from my experience I mean, you can't just pass every number, so maybe we should drop everything not a link, because directories usually should be linked. I mean, the only thing is, does it then still work with FTP? But because FTP, nothing has links. Besides, most browsers get away with FTP anyway, so probably fewer and fewer projects probably rely on FTP for their distribution. Do we even have? Yeah, we have 8.1. So maybe to make this, I mean, there would be still some random stuff, but at least less random stuff, and it would remove lots of numbers not to accidentally match two versions. So yeah, I guess ahref, and then hope for the best. I mean, apparently, I wonder if we could rely on that all web servers list this with a trailing slash, which I wonder, can we rely on that? But if we could rely on that, that would make this matching even better, because maybe I first implement it with it, because this would get rid of all of those HA, it's like just some data analyst. Even if you run some sophisticated parser thing on this, I'm not even convinced that it would improve stuff over SED and grep, just brute force, as I usually do here. So probably the best would be to do a regular expression to, not what I usually do. Usually I do brute forcing this with like translating stuff to new line to separate those tags. I think maybe this time I maybe write a proper regex regular expression to a better log on real directory links. So href, where do we even, yeah, so much stuff, so that would be those here. And honestly, also more fun. I would say this is more fun, leave me in the comments below. This is probably more fun and fulfilling to automate this stuff than sitting here another decade each day updating packages. So yeah, that would be that. So we need a href. I mean, the problem is always you could stick here arbitrary amounts of space and stuff, but of course not a big deal for reg expressions. So something of SED, so that would be substitute everything href. So that would be like to like not over match that, not quotes, also not quotes everything that. Maybe also, by the way, I mean, not that it would matter too much, but of course usually best to work with stuff not always re-downloading that. It makes it a little bit faster as well. We also need to save that, so that would be All right, I also used comma here. And we need to capture that, so that would be capture all of that here. And there, maybe even, does it also here globally? I slightly wonder what does it do with, how does it work in this combination of, by the way, does it have GP or, okay, this, so it works on a line, it substitutes that. Yes, actually, basically, I think we should first split this in lines. Otherwise, if there are multiple things in a line, we want to get rid of all the other text. So probably we want to first break that up into lines like I usually do, and then work with one match a href at a line. That is probably the way to go. Yeah, you heard it already. Also, we have some people tuning in. Family call already. I quickly need to leave. I will probably finish this. It's probably also trying and random stuff. Obviously, maybe it's even better to make a short live stream, 20 minutes and not 2 hours. Actually, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, with some concepts. So that's probably the concept to go. And again, if you tuned in late, working on our Linux distribution and trying to automate the heck out of all the daily randomly amazing package updates, so that we can focus on more amazing stuff like writing microkernel and other fun FPGA and other more innovative stuff, and not spending so much time. Of course, it works already a treat. As seen here, not only skyrocketing contributions here all over the place, 2-year or maybe even all-time high currently, new contributors, but of course also our databot doing its job, and certainly would be amazing if our databot does an even more amazing AI job of automating even more updates. Have to rush. We'll continue later. Don't forget to select subscribe. Also, the GoFundMe will go live soon. It will be interesting to see if we can motivate people to contribute more directly and get even more stuff done. Because why do I do this? The problem is I started, so not only I need to do this because the P3 region patch didn't work with the latest upstream changes anymore, and I have finished that also. Yeah, how many? Probably I put already 5, if not 10 hours into the previous video, still ATA performance improvement for the P3, but it's not fully done. I also realized this currently leads to data corruption, because I said in this video there's a scatter gather buffer, and I said, yeah, I need to look into that. And yeah, I looked into that, like, yeah, they have only one DMA scatter gather bounce buffer. So currently the multi requests are all corrupting in one scatter gather bounce buffer. So of course that needs to change. I tried that. The easy change didn't work. I thought I'd just allocate like twice as much and use multiple regions in this one DMA scatter gather buffer. That of course was only 45 minutes to try, with setting everything up, compiling, booting and debugging and stuff. Turns out I think the hypervisor doesn't like this. The hypervisor apparently only wants DMA allocated base addresses, and if you pass an address like you allocate like 128k and you index into that 64k, like half of the DMA buffer, the hypervisor is like error code, error minus whatever. I don't like this address because it's not an DMA allocated base address or something. At least that is what 45 minutes of. So basically we need to allocate multiple buffers. For that we need to change the code even more, also because there's lib storage stuff, not only P3 disk but also lib P3 storage shared with flash and so on. So yeah, more changes, at least 2 hours, but of course plus testing and random bugs and stuff, plus the P3 frame buffer. I rewrote that already significantly. It wasn't the mode, actually it's working, except the mode setting is not entirely perfect. Needs similar more guru meditation. So that's why we do that, and I count like 10 hours here and 10 hours there, and at the end of the week also need to feed the family and stuff and so on. And birthday and Christmas is coming up. So see you next time, and keep hacking.